The sultry heat of late summer in Flagstaff hung thickly in the air, but it wasn't the weather that kept the Browns sweating. What actually simmered was the tempest brewing behind tightly shut doors. Even TLC was not able to protect Robyn and Kody Brown from a long-forgotten secret that was now tearing through the carefully constructed veneer they had built for years. Framed on the edge of the couch, the massive leather one in their eerily quiet mansion, Robyn shook. Her manicured fingers trembled over a stack of emergency legal envelopes, stamped boldly with TLC's attorney's sign. Lips apart, mascara smudged from last night, face washed of color. She'd wept bucket. And now that at last the nasty truth was public, it was more awful than she'd ever imagined. The scandal had been bubbling away for months. Insinuations on the web grew more insistent. Gossip of hidden bank accounts, diverted production funds, and vanishing staff members during key shoots. But none of it was concrete, except when one anonymous assistant producer leaked files to one big-time blogger. Hey guys, hi again to Reality Recap. Remember to thumbs up this video. The files uncovered substantive TLC wire transfers to a private LLC, one that was registered under Robyn's maiden name. The rest of the family? Completely in on it. Janelle never saw a penny. Mary didn't even know the company existed. Christine, watching from Utah once she left, fumed over the screenshot. Robyn had been secretly taking cash meant for the entire family into her own bank accounts, illegally. And Kody? Not only did he know about it, he helped make it happen. TLC producers had long looked the other way, but viewer outrage was building now. Kody's behavior on camera had become increasingly unhinged, and public sympathy had reached an all-time low following Garrison's death. Ratings fell through the floor, and then a leaked company memo dropped. Robyn and Kody's failure to account for financial profit is a violation of our ethics policy. Suspension and investigation are already underway. The dam burst. Janelle finally spoke out. Long enough, she had said nothing, but word of the embezzlement was her breaking point. Standing with her grown children outside her attorney's office, she addressed reporters. Her voice shook with years of repressed anger, but not with it. For over a decade, we were promised that this was a family. We gave up our income, our dignity, and our privacy. It wasn't love that was the problem. Robyn and Kody were taking from us blind. The phone call from TLC came Tuesday morning. A flat, affectless voice on the speakerphone delivered the coup de grace. Robyn stared blankly at her iPhone as it rang off. Effective immediately, production is halted. Your family's contract is being legally reviewed and may be terminated. Just like that, it was over. TLC's former beloved show, its pride and ratings behemoth, was collapsing, not because viewership defected, but because the foundation of dishonesty upon which it stood had collapsed. In private, TLC's attorneys had already begun pursuing damages, alleging fraudulent misrepresentation. While Robyn cried, shaking and yelling witch hunt, Mary stood at last. Firm and unruffled, she spoke live on a Phoenix radio show. Her voice was cold and unyielding. Robyn acted as if she desired to make peace every moment of every day. But manipulation is not peace. Stealing from your sister wives is not. I did not exact revenge. I merely took the truth, and the world finally sees it. She held up one page, a tax return filed by the secret LLC. Robyn's and Kody's names were the only two listed. The other wives weren't even in footnotes. The collapse was complete. Kody no longer returned Robyn's phone call, now ostracized to most of his kin and kicked out of the polygamous community. When TLC tried to film one final confessional, he was nowhere to be found. The man who used to idealize about his wives on television had simply vanished. TLC, however, had some internal housecleaning. Staff members who defended Robyn and Kody were being fired. Veteran producers were taking the stand. And Robyn? She remained isolated, somewhere in that foreboding, empty Flagstaff home. Legally and emotionally, Robyn was by herself. Her name was on every court document now. Janelle's attorney had filed a complaint in civil court for fraud and back wages. Christine was suing too. Mary too. Even the network, TLC, was getting involved, filing a countersuit against the Browns for $3.1 million for the breach of contract and damages. Christine's bombshell came next. Already only 2 weeks after TLC suspended Sister Wives, Christine Brown appeared live on Good Morning America, calm and radiant, with the low-key confidence of a woman finally exonerated. The tearful, sobbing Christine of season 15 was absent. Sitting upright in a stylishly fitting navy blouse, her expression was impenetrable. "There were always secrets," she began, "but I never imagined money for our children, our future, was going towards a company registered behind our backs." She unrolled a thin folder, branded with a bold. Inside, a brand new production contract, this time with Brown and Associates. The crowd gasped. TLC may have closed down the cameras, but their story? Far from complete. The pitch, a docu-series chronicling Christine, Janelle, and Mary, once wives but now survivors, reclaiming their lives, getting back pilfered money, and unmasking the years of manipulation, deceit, and emotional manipulation. The working title, Reclaimed: Life After Polygamy. As the headlines exploded, backstage, forensic researchers were tracing every document linked to Sullivan Ventures LLC, the mysterious company in Robyn's maiden name. What they found stunned even the seasoned auditor. 3 off-the-books rental properties in northern Arizona, a Las Vegas timeshare purchased during the Browns' 2019 financial breakdown, a high-end online boutique for modest fashion, operated by Robyn and funded directly through TLC stipend. Filming budgets meant to be collectively pooled for the whole family were being wired instead into a Utah shell account. And Kody? His name was on almost every piece of paper as a strategic advisor. One subpoenaed email from 2022 read, "Make sure these ledgers aren't shown to Mary or Janelle. Tell TLC the expenses were for set design or therapy." It was signed Robyn. The final blow, however, did not come from TLC. It came from the next generation. On Instagram, Madison, Logan, Mykelti, Gwen, Gabriel, they all surfaced in a raw, emotional video shot in Christine's Utah backyard. No filter, no script, just the truth. "They stole from our mother," said Gwen, "and we were the ones left with nothing. Now we're speaking out." Logan added, "They told us there was no college fund, but meanwhile our father was investing in shady real estate, buying iPads for Robyn's kids, and taking luxury camping trips. That ends now." They validated long-standing suspicion that Robyn and Kody's children were pampered on set, receiving bonuses and gifts courtesy of TLC producers, while the rest were ignored. Even Leon, Mary's son, long estranged from the family, broke their silence on social media. "I remained silent to survive, but the truth is louder now." The lawsuit, now front and center in a reality courtroom showdown, was expanded. Janelle and Mary filed jointly in Arizona Superior Court, seeking emotional damages for financial manipulation, repayment for swiped TLC money, and $850,000 in unpaid profit. Christine joined later, and the claim ballooned to $1.4 million. TLC, in response, fired back, filing their own $3.1 million countersuit, claiming that Robyn and Kody's LLC had funneled money in clear contravention of caste agreements. The legal wording left no room for interpretation: fraud, money laundering, and intentional exploitation of contractual rights. Pressed by mounting legal pressure, Kody scrambled to disassociate himself. He filed an emergency petition to remove his name from Robyn's LLC, but it was too late. His name was everywhere. Then there was Robyn's defense. During a local Flagstaff news broadcast, she dissolved in tears. "I didn't know," she insisted. "I just signed whatever Kody told me to." But by then, sympathy had evaporated. Even her most stalwart defenders were turning away. Her social media accounts were filled with incredulity. "You knew. You always knew." The final shot of Rebirth Part 2 plays out. Mary, Janelle, and Christine emerged onto the set of their new program. The Brown family crests that had hung on the walls were now gone. In their place were positive affirmations: freedom, healing, legacy, emblazoned boldly across the studio. Christine looked straight into the camera. "We gave him everything," she said. "But now we're finally building something of our own." The camera panned to a wide whiteboard where new names had been added. Other women escaping destructive polygamous unions, financial coercion, and cult-like religious control. The series wasn't just about retaliation anymore. It had become a movement. Meanwhile, Kody Brown had barely left his Flagstaff home in weeks. The blinds drawn, phones disconnected, and the house wrapped in gloom. The once profligate patriarch, who earned his pay on screen, now shielded himself behind blackout curtains. The silence brooded. The air inside the mansion, once thick with production rumble and the pretense of family, now pulsed with tension. Robyn responded in fragments. The children moved stealthily as if they were afraid to break the air. But the worst of it was not the suit. It was the eviction notice. TLC's counterclaim for fraud targeted the mansion itself, a home purchased using funds from the collective family pool. The asset asset had been seized by the court. A knock at the door broke the silence. A process server made the delivery in person. "You have 30 days to vacate. The property is lawfully seized as part of an ongoing investigation." Robyn fainted. Kody didn't say anything. He muttered to himself, "They all left, and now they've stolen the cameras too." In Utah, dynamics had shifted. Christine, Janelle, and Mary were good. They had hired Sarah Trumbull, a forensic accountant and former survivor of a polygamist compound in Arizona. She laid it all out: the hidden Nevada accounts, the P.O. box Robyn had to receive royalty checks, and how production budgets covered private therapy sessions for Robyn and her children, designer timepieces, and off-the-grid prepper gear. Janelle's 401k? Lost. Blown on Kody's personal expenses. Christine's TLC bonuses? Used to help stock Robyn's online clothing business. Even Mary's income from her bed and breakfast had been folded into a Brown family trust that didn't legally exist. Now they had proof. Then Robyn's children broke their silence. Aurora went first, visibly emotional as she held a journal during a tearful live stream. She turned to entries underlined in red ink, passages about growing up in a family built on illusion. "They always told us this was about love," she whispered, "but it did not. We were all complicit in the deception. I didn't know Christine's money paid our bills, or Janelle supported our way of life, or Mary's company supported my education." Dayton went on with a public statement in his college's student newspaper. "I stand with my sibling. I do not condone the decisions our mother made. I'd like to restore my relationship with the rest of our family, without cameras or contracts." Even Brianna, who had been quiet for years, posted a mysterious TikTok, a montage of previous financial documents, with audio of Robyn crying on an episode of Sister Wives. The message read, "We weren't ignorant, we were afraid. Robyn attempted to silence us, but silence had become resistance, and resistance became truth. It was finally done." The courtroom battle. 1:03 a.m., Arizona Superior Court. The courtroom was packed. News cameras lined the hallway. Protesters picketed outside, carrying signs that said, "Justice for Janelle," and "Kody lied. TLC paid." Kody came in, slouched, wrinkled, his expression worn down. Robyn wore all black and clutched a faded leather Book of Mormon in her hand. Behind them sat Christine, Janelle, and Mary, unfazed, self-assured, and carefully scripted. Throughout the room their lawyer started. "For 12 years, the cast were not informed of TLC payments. Below are internal memos substantiating sole financial rights accorded to Robyn. Messages from Kody instructing Robyn to keep the other wives in the dark. We are talking about intellectual property theft, broken contracts, and crew manipulation." TLC's lawyer defended the ex-wives unequivocally. The judge's disdain was clear. "This has nothing to do with family," he snapped harshly. "This was a clear deception, executed by two people who exploited fame, religion, and the illusion of love for personal gain." With a resounding swipe of his gavel, he ruled. The court awards the plaintiffs $1.44 million in damages. Apart from this court establishes TLC's lawsuit against Robyn Sullivan Brown and Kody Wynn Brown for misappropriation of funds, amounting to $3.1 million. Property liens will be initiated forthwith. There were well-known visitors in the courtroom that day. Robyn fainted. Kody simply sat there catatonic, blank, vacant, a shadow of the man he had once been. A month later, consequences and transformations emerged. The once swanky Flagstaff mansion stood vacant, its huge front door now covered with boards. Out in rural Arizona, Kody had been spotted residing in a trailer, sitting on borrowed land. Neighbors reported that they rarely saw him step out into the open. Robyn had left too. Her adult children are reported to have helped her make the move to a small condo in Mesa Sparks, brought on by Utah. However, Christine began something else. My Own Voice, an empowerment brand and resource center for women escaping controlling relationships. Janelle surfaced also, starting a financial consulting business dedicated to assisting single mothers. Mary successfully rebranded her old cozy bed and breakfast as a proper wellness resort. She was confronted by TLC2's powerful return onto the television screen. They offered a 2-hour special titled Sister Wives: The Reckoning, which included exclusive footage from the courtroom, tearful confessions from the adult kids, and an early look at Reclaimed, which became the network's highest premiere ever. In the background of one scene, Christine lounged on her front porch. Her grandchildren's laughter filled the air as she swayed gently on a porch swing. The camera zoomed in as she looked ahead. "I used to feel trapped by those cameras," she said quietly, "but somehow they helped me escape." She locked eyes with the lens. "We're no longer victims. We're the storytellers now." But there was still more unfolding. Janelle Brown revealed that Kody had begun trying to reconnect with his children. For context, Kody Brown, husband to 4 women, Mary, Janelle, Christine, Christine and Robyn, was father to 18 kids, but along the way, he'd lost touch with most of them, especially his first 3 wives. Most of that erosion was due to Kody favoring his fourth and only present wife. That favoritism put a wedge between him and his former wives, but also with some of his adult children. In addition, the cracks went further deep during the COVID-19 pandemic. Kody stopped sending Christmas gifts, missed his daughter Isabel's life-saving surgery, forgot the birthday of one son, and forced Janelle to evict their sons, Gabe and Garrison. The other children's relationships with him turned bitter as they began blaming him for tormenting their mother. By season 19 of Sister Wives, Kody revealed a wish to mend those relationships, but tension had yet to subside. Robyn, ever aggressive, insisted he sit down and talk things over with the children. Kody admitted he wanted to mend the relationships, but admitted he wasn't competing to win their affection. Still, Robyn persisted. She even proposed that if need be, he camp outside his children's houses just to prove that he cared enough to come through. Suki Krishnan, the Sister Wives anchor, recently had some news on Kody's changing situation. Suki had this to say on the Sarah Fraser show. Kody's trying to meet his sons as men now and meet his daughter as grown women. He's attempting to heal old scars. Suki embraced the intricacies of Kody's efforts, but reaffirmed that he was devoted to trying it, despite the obstacle. She added the hope Kody has of being a good dad, despite some of his children being not yet ready to speak with him. Kody's own words, "My children will always be my children. The door is always ajar." But he went on to explain, although the door is always ajar, they need also to choose to go through it. He admitted he would never turn his face away from reconciliation, but there were boundaries. For example, he would not exclude Robyn from his life for the purposes of reconciling with his children. His stance was firm. He would not abandon Robyn, even to the extent of leaving his children in the distance. Some of them, he knew, might hope him to put them before Robyn. Others begrudgingly blamed their father's abandonment of their mothers on her. Some, he claimed, likely just wished Robyn would go away. Maybe. Either way, Kody made one thing explicitly clear: his wife first. Critics, including some who have a close relationship with the family, argued that he was emotionally closing himself off and was not putting the effort into actually repairing those frayed relationships. E! News interviewed both Janelle and Christine in October 2024. In a frank aside, Janelle and Christine discussed Kody's state of mind today and the collapse of their plural marriages. They also discussed the emotional toll it took on their children, presenting Kody's behavior as leaving deep psychological and familial scars. Janelle used her daughter Maddie as an example to illustrate how tense the relationships had become. Maddie is just one example, she said, among many who feel totally cut off from their father. Maddie, Janelle says, has zero interest in reestablishing anything with Kody. The physical and emotional distance between them is too far. It's not clear whether Janelle's update is fresher than Suki Krishnan's earlier update, but one thing was certain. Both Janelle and Christine were devastated that their children had also lost touch with Robyn's 5 children. They still hope those sibling relationships can one day be mended. Kody himself reminisced about a cringe-worthy conversation with Aspen Brown, his daughter with Christine, on season 19 of Sister Wives. Aspen really asked me, "Why do you not like me?" Kody admitted in a confessional. And I said to her, "Sweetheart, I love you. I always have." He blamed their strained relationship as being largely the product of Christine and their past disagreement. But whereas Aspen is waiting for her firstborn, there has been no indication Kody has made a move to come visit. Whereas Kody may have been attempting to rebuild relationships in private, public outcry from the Brown children has made it abundantly clear. On social media, their silence, or not being there, is deafening. Aspen's Instagram account remains private, and her husband, Mitchell Thompson, does not follow Kody's public account. Of Kody's 18 children, only 3, Isabel, Hunter, and Mykelti, currently follow him on social media. It's more than clear. Many members of the Brown family no longer wish to be associated with the man who once led them on Sister Wives. On the season 19 tell-all special of Sister Wives, Kody was bombarded by an amount of criticism unprecedented in his history. His refusal to answer straight questions and his ex-wives coming out openly and accusing him of emotional abuse highlighted just how low he'd fallen from Golden Boy. Though unfortunately, his tactic of dodging the issue is so on autopilot now that even the cast members believe it's done on purpose. Janelle particularly seemed to confirm that hypothesis with her recent statements. Kody's favoritism toward Robyn, his youngest wife, have been causing tension for years. But now that his domestic arrangement has all but fallen apart, his former wives aren't mum. Janelle responded straight straight back against Kody's bristly and defensive attitude in his tell-all interview to host Sukanya Suki Krishnan. She argued that Kody's behavior was no longer simply evasive, strategic. She believed that he was deliberately covering up for Robyn, and in doing that, deliberately deflecting all the inspection away from herself. Janelle, who had been wedded to Kody for nearly 30 years, suggested his outrageous public conduct was a calculated tactic. She told Suki, he'll do whatever it takes to tarnish his own reputation to keep Robyn safe. But is Kody acting independently? Janelle wasn't convinced. She took her theory further, asserting that Robyn was involved in creating this whole storyline. By being the good wife, she could downplay her involvement in the breakdown of the family. Janelle felt that Robyn was making a deliberate effort to get Kody to take all the blame, another means of alienating him from his ex-wives and children. Fans remembered Robyn's excessive distress amid the COVID-19 pandemic. Although Kody had also initially been more laid back in his approach to quarantine rule, he soon came into line with Robyn's stringent guidelines. Shortly afterwards, he quit visiting his other wives entirely. Janelle was adamant, however, Kody is an adult. He made choices. Even under pressure from Robyn, he could have made other choices, as he had in his previous marriages. What is clear now is that Kody has long been assuming the role of protector to Robyn. Since Sister Wives' inception, he's been her defender. Robyn, on the other hand, maintained her position as the helpless, sweet woman who needed to be defended at all times. Both of them have established a dynamic where he can excuse abandoning all the other people. Kody has long been a part of the cycle that continues to plague his family. His refusal to abandon a narrative that casts him as the victim, no matter how much it alienates his older children and ex-wives, shows how far he's willing to go. For Janelle, Mary, and Christine, it may be hard to accept that the man they loved was actually always self-serving and calculating. Now, he's redefining their past as the victim. During the tell-all, Kody had asserted that jealousy over Robyn was what drove his other wives away. That was never really the issue. He explains that his family was constantly judging him for loving Robyn more than the rest, and eventually, he informed us he just couldn't take it anymore. But the biggest shock of all came when Kody confessed he never did fall in love with any of his first 3 wives. He said he stayed in those marriages only because of obligation. While having twice doubled down on an overly inflated, unfair recounting of the failure of multiple relationships, Kody has instead been called out by his ex-wives as dishonest and manipulative in public. His persistent favoritism of Robyn has not only lost him his wives, it's still building a wedge between him and his children, most of whom have felt systematically excluded in his efforts to shield Robyn from scrutiny. Unless Kody can now own up to his mistakes and admit his underlying prejudice, he's accelerating his own downfall. Another heartbreaking update has since emerged from the greater Sister Wives community. A dear friend of one of the cast members is now battling a rare, ruthless illness. Medical concerns have been a running theme throughout the Sister Wives family over the years. Christine Brown has talked about her efforts toward weight loss, as well as diabetes concern. Mary has addressed how emotional trauma has impacted her physically, especially after having mobility issues. Janelle has talked in depth about her quest towards better health via exercise and diet. Even Kody has admitted to chronic fatigue and stress. These health challenges often reflect not just age, but also the immense strain of living in and then exiting a highly complex polygamous system. Recently, Jen Sullivan, a close friend of Mary's and frequent face in the Fridays with Friends livestream, posted a heartfelt photo with her husband Sean on their 19th anniversary. The photo was snapped before Sean went into the intensive treatment of the sarcoma, the most aggressive type of cancer. Sean, according to Jen, had to undergo 2 major surgeries from February 2025, including the removal of his 3rd tumor that occurred shortly beyond the area targeted by radiation. He went through intensive and aggressive radiation therapy for 5 weeks. Recovery has been lengthy, painful, and exhausting. Despite the physical cost, Sean has started to regain strength. On good days, he's even returned to the family shop. While operating on short hours, the family has extended genuine gratitude for the patience and continued support of the community. Jen and her family initially chose to keep the diagnosis a secret in an effort to shield their children from worry. They kept holding out hope to keep life in a sense of normalcy through the remainder of the school year. With their children now informed and secure, the family is now open to sharing their story. Through all of this hardship, fans' love and support, friends' love and support, as well as customers' love and support, has been the world to them. Jen said that good vibes, generous acts, and kind words have been comforting words. The family clings to hope and the healing journey that is to come. Jen herself, in the meantime, has not been exempt from health issues. A benign uterine tumor required a hysterectomy, putting her regular Fridays with Friends shows on hold. Concerned fans noticed her absence, but thanks to Mary's unwavering support, Jen is now focused on her recovery. Mary, known for her loyalty and resilience, has stood beside Jen every step of the way, and it's expected she's doing the same for Sean as he continues his treatment. Whether it's hospital visits, moral support, or simply being present, Mary's strength has once again shone through in this time of need. Sister Wives fans have long admired how Mary's quiet strength and compassion reflect the values she holds dear. Now, as Jen and Sean face one of the toughest battles of their lives, Mary remains a light through the darkness. Sister Wives fans are accustomed to Robyn Brown's unilateral demeanor on the TLC show, but in everyday life, she seems to have grown envious of Kody Brown. Although she routinely depicted herself as humble, this fourth wife definitely seemed to be proud to be a celebrity. Over the last 2 seasons, viewers have witnessed Robyn's tears turn into snarky remarks and a "who cares" attitude, quite different from the woman who once had such a kind approach to her sister wives. When the facade finally crumbled and the public got to see the real Robyn Brown, most fans believed that this is not new at all. Robyn's incessant, tearless sobbing had made her the "so Robyn" for most of Sister Wives' run. But recently, in these last few seasons, that was not the case anymore. Off camera, there was a more assertive Robyn on screen. How do we know this? A few years ago, Robyn co-authored a book with the other wives in her plural marriage, and she boasted about herself quite openly. She even compared herself to Oprah Winfrey. This was after they had shown up on Oprah's program to promote Sister Wives when the TV show was still fresh. The 5 wives went on to author a bestseller, In Becoming Sister Wives. The story of an unconventional marriage, Robyn spoke about the manner in which she identified with Oprah. This left many viewers with the impression that Robyn felt as good as Oprah, a sentiment many fans believed was presumptuous in light of her relatively diminutive level of fame. On Becoming Sister Wives, Robyn often intimated that she had a hard time sharing Kody with 3 other women. Even though it wasn't always nice, she appeared to do it with grace on television, speaking with Kody and appearing to be happy with herself for being able to maintain their 5-person marriage by remaining in control of her temper. But off of television, it was a considerably different affair. Take the book incident, for example. Robyn described that one waiter had glared coldly at her and Kody while they were out dining. Kody was with Mary Brown just a couple of days ago, and they were like a husband and wife. The waitress thought Robyn was the other woman because she saw Robyn walking hand in hand and close to Kody. Robyn would have shrugged it off on TV, but off camera she stood up to the waitress, making it clear she was Kody's wife, and that the other woman he was seen with was another wife of his. Pakistanis saw this episode as proof that Robyn never had to keep quiet about being a sister wife. Unlike Janelle and Christine, who constantly had to play the part of relative or friend when appearing in public with Kody, Robyn would never let anyone challenge her right to him. She became insistent that Kody had more than one wife, and herself and the woman the waitress noted were on that list. Robyn was renowned for her on-camera tearless crying, but off-camera, she was possessive of Kody to a great extent. For most Sister Wives fans, those tears were a smokescreen. When the cameras went down, Robyn's real personality shone through, far from the teary, humble persona portrayed on TLC. Let us hear your opinions in the comments, and don't miss subscribing to our channel for more news like this. Thank you, everyone.